Alright, so can you run Assassin's Creed Odyssey without a graphics card? In this video, we gotta try to run Assassin's Creed Odyssey on a $300 gaming PC that doesn't even have a graphics card. Let's get started. Alright, so hey, how's it going, guys? It's Robin here. Glad you made it on this channel. You'll find PC components, tech gadgets and console accessories, as well as unboxings and product reviews, all gaming related of course. And so if you're interested in that, you want to subscribe and don't forget to tap the notification bell so that you don't miss out whenever I upload another video. So in this video, we're gonna try to run AC Odyssey or Assassin's Creed Odyssey on a computer I spent around $300 on ish. Yeah, something we need to mention here, it doesn't even have a graphics card, by the way. Now, what other games would you like me to test on this cheap PC in future videos? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Will Assassin's Creed Odyssey even start, or will we witness blue screens? Let's find out. Now, I'm curious, guys, have you tried the latest Assassin's Creed yet? And if so, what is your initial thoughts? Now, when I first heard the announcement for Odyssey, in my head I was like, damn, this game series has been around for ages. Made me Google how long it's been around for, cause I knew I was playing this on my old Xbox 360. Hands up if you had an Xbox 360, by the way. Well, it turns out the game has been around since 2007. That's a whopping 11 years. I guess time is flying. Anyway, what's your thoughts on this long time going Assassin's Creed series so far? Do you think that the game needs a bit of a rest, or are you hoping to see more games following up the storyline in future years to come? I'm very interested to know, guys, so please share your thoughts in the comments. Now, since the launch of the Sony PlayStation 4 Pro and Microsoft Xbox One X, game developers have pushed what's possible in games, the visual aspect of it, and so the minimum requirements have moved up quite a lot since that. As a result, now that game developers have roughly around 5 GB of video memory to play around with on the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, we will most likely see higher minimum requirements in AAA titles in the following years to come. Anyway, I am very excited here, and I have zero expectations really, but if this $300-ish gaming PC can handle games such as Forza Horizon 4, Battlefield 5 and Call of Duty Black Ops 4, I mean, why not? Anyway, so we're gonna try and run this game on a PC that features AMD's second generation Ryzen processor APU. It has 4 cores and 8 threads, and it's running in 3.5 GHz with a tiny GPU chip built into the CPU. Now, this tiny chip in question, which is more known as the Radeon RX Vega 11, is our graphics chip and will be responsible for all the glorious eye-blending graphics we are soon about to witness. And by the way, you can find all the details to this machine in the description below. But let's not jump ahead of ourselves. What is Assassin's Creed Odyssey's minimum requirement? What does it take to start the game? And what does it take to have a good, solid experience? Let's jump over to Ubisoft's site and see what they're saying. So it seems like Windows 7 is needed to be able to start the game. Well, I hope most of you guys have upgraded. For processor, for AMD, Ubisoft is recommending the FX 6300, which is a CPU that came out back in 2012. And it features a 6-core, or rather 3 physical cores and 6 logical ones, and 6 threads, with a base clock of 3.5 GHz and a max turbo of 4.1 GHz. Sounds exciting, but let me tell you guys, in 2018, soon 2019, it's not the hottest CPU to game on. Let's just put it like that. Now, for Intel, we got the Core i5 2400, which is a 4-core, 4-threaded CPU, also known as the Sandy Bridge architecture. This CPU came out in 2011, and it's still to this date, according to, I believe it was Steam statistics or something, still a pretty popular CPU lineup from Intel. well, much thanks to the 2500K and the Core i7 2600K, thanks to the overclocking potential this architecture has. Now for graphics we need at least a GTX 660 from Nvidia or a Radeon R9 285 from AMD to be able to even start the game. Now Ubisoft is stating that 2GB of VRAM and a shader model of 5.0 is necessary, and this is becoming the bare minimum requirement in pretty much every single AAA title today. This is something you guys should take into consideration when you're buying a new graphics card. Now since our graphics chip borrows the video memory from the primary memory, the 8GB RAM, we will yet again be facing the exact same thing here as we've seen in other games in the video series. We're gonna be running short on memory for this system, so technically the game should not start because we're running at least 2GB memory short here, so technically a 10GB of system memory would have been necessary for us in this case. Now when it comes to memory, we can see that for most or almost any modern game today you need at least 8GB. Now to round this off, Ubisoft is actually being very transparent with us here. You don't always see this, but they're actually stating the settings for us as well. Here you can see that they're stating resolution 720p, targeted frame rate of 30 FPS, and the video preset should be set to low. Now, I want to know guys, do you ever game in 720p resolution or do you usually stick to 1080p, also known as Full HD? Personally, always prefer 1080p for several reasons, but you know what? Let's jump into the game and prepare for the worst. Now, running low on memory usually ends with the system dumping information on the hard drive instead in a file called a page file. This is not the end of the world, as the only thing that it does is making the system a little bit slower and perhaps cause some game stutter if you're unlucky. So to anyone running low on memory, your best friend is this page file, and so if you only have 8GB in your system, at least make sure you got a fast hard drive like an SSD for your page file. Now let's go back to the game, which actually starts up pretty nicely, I have to admit. Now I gotta say I'm surprised how well this budget system handles new gaming titles. Although there isn't any animation going on in the menu as you normally see in games nowadays, I'm quite surprised how well the cursor responds and acts to my mouse movements. Usually this is a quick indication if a game is laggy or not, but everything feels solid so far. Since this game has a pretty advanced built-in benchmark, it would be just stupidity not to run this, because it will pretty much give us the real answer if the system is stable and if the game is playable with the current preset. So I decided I wanted to set everything to the lowest to not destroy the system before we've even started. We set everything so everything has been set to low, and as for things like ambient occlusion and anti-aliasing, those two are turned off completely. Terrain is actually set to medium because this is the lowest available preset. Let's jump into the first round. 1080p, everything set to low. Now with the graphics chip running at 100% and RAM usage at around 90 to 90%, it's safe to say we actually have problems here. So as we can see guys, this system cannot handle the game with the lowest settings. So after this test I decided I wanted to try something else, and I spent quite a lot of time trying to tweak the graphics settings to try and find something that would actually work for the system, and it wasn't easy, I tell you that. At least we're not seeing blue screens, right? Now after been playing around with different settings for some time, I ended up with an average frame rate of 25 to 30 FPS with the resolution scaling set to 70% and AA set to adaptive. Now I didn't quite get the punch that I was looking for here. I was trying my best guys to achieve 60 FPS, but it seems like a struggle for this system. Now at this point things looks decent, but if you decide to lower the resolution even more, the game will turn into a potato. So we're gonna try to summarize the experience now. Is it possible to run Assassin's Creed Odyssey on a system without a graphics card? Yes, it's definitely possible, and even though we're gaming on a system below the minimum requirements now, doesn't mean you should try it yourself. Seriously guys, this isn't worth it. You need something better in terms of graphics to be able to enjoy the game. Now, unless you don't care about the graphics whatsoever, you can go for it, and you should be able to reach around 30 FPS average, but otherwise, adding a graphics card such as the GTX 1050 or let's say an RX 560, we would have solved the problems on this system. And so with that said, I'm quite happy what we accomplished here, and even though I wouldn't recommend anyone to play on the built-in graphics card in this game still ran pretty okay in the end of the day, which is an achievement in itself. Now with that said, I'm gonna be back with more videos soon guys, but let me know what games you would like to see coming up next. In the meantime, have an awesome day, alright? Bye!